Well, to speak after 5 amazing presentations, keynote addresses, I feel tremendously challenged. Not only this, post-lunch sessions are too challenging, right? So my responsibility this afternoon is to keep you awake. Despite this, if you choose to doze off, I will let you do that. But be careful, we coexist, and my achievement becomes your responsibility. Today, I'll be speaking. Am I audible? I'm a teacher, so I'm used to shouting. So I'll be, unlike the previous keynote addresses, where you heard them speak so many intriguing, inspiring, new knowledge. But today what I'm going to speak is nothing new that you already know. But perhaps I will present it in a little different way so that I invite you to engage in my presentation and think for yourself. That would be my, presentation way that I would present. Well, this spirituality today is a very contaminated word, or rather a very much misused or abused word, simply because it has been interchangeably used with religion. Now if you look at religions, these religions in fact started as a spiritual process in the beginning. You look at it, every religion, it started as a spiritual process. But over the years, I think religion is spirituality gone bad. I look that way. Simply because when you look at religious systems, you'll see so much of belief systems, so much of looking outside as well. But in spirituality, it's a journey within. Therefore, irrespective of who you are, what religious background you come from, we have a common universal problem. We suffer, our sufferings, irrespective of who you are. There is no Hindu suffering as such, there is no Buddhist suffering separately, there is no Christian suffering separately. We suffer something universal. And therefore, to tackle that problem, spirituality is the only way forward. I'm putting up this question, but I'm not going to answer right now. I'll come back to it later, towards the end of my presentation. Fundamentally, what I would like to take you through is that, did anybody wake up this morning saying, may I suffer the whole day? Did anybody? That means fundamentally our basic human aspiration that is innate in us is to be happy. That is universal, whether you are a Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, Islam, whatever. And happiness is the goal of every other goal. Fundamentally, this is what we are seeking. Today, if you look at education, now with the advent of science and technology, we see unprecedented development outside. It has brought so much of comfort and convenience that we could say perhaps we are the most fortunate generation ever in terms of physical development. But it's very difficult to claim that we are the most fortunate generation when it comes to happiness, inner peace. Today, despite the literacy going up in a very enhanced manner, what we lack, what we fear is from inhuman human behavior. Isn't it that so? Our biggest fear is from human beings. So that means perhaps what modern education is telling us, we perhaps have to relook at it. Now, the problem why, despite we do 101 things to become happy, but still we suffer, simply because we live with this gross misunderstanding, meaning assuming without knowing in most of the fields that we do. And if we look at some of the assumptions, you'll see that assumption today, one of the assumptions is that money is everything, and this is true in most people. And then when you see that money is everything, accumulation by any means becomes the pursuit. But then if you look at the statistics that I'm told, that 80% of the world economy is managed by 20% of the world's population. Despite the fact that everybody wants, believes that money is everything, but it's only in the hands of few people. Now when this happens, it leads to, we know, obsession for consumption, obsession for profit, obsession for indulgence, right? And then because our worldview is that my happiness is outside, therefore when I pursue outside, I do it without feelings. And when there is no feelings in the society, then domination, exploitation, fear, etc. happens. And this leads to, we all know, terrorism, war, revolution. If you look at history, this has been the case. And then, in the name of mastery over nature, we have exploited nature. And this morning we saw Peter's presentation. Half of the planet has gone. Now we cannot even claim that we have one planet. Half of it is gone. And it's simply because we overused it, leading to resource depletion and pollution, which means we are using up resources at a pace much faster than what nature can produce, and we are producing pollution at a faster rate than nature can absorb. But if we look closely to nature, we will see that there is this natural capacity in nature to absorb, but we are not letting this Mother Earth revive on its own. If you look at the nature, minus the human beings, you will see all physical order, pranic order, animal order in perfect mutual fulfillment. They fulfill each other. But when it comes to human beings, it depends whether the human being understands harmony, whether human beings understand that the tree is not a tree but your lungs hanging up on the branches, without which you cannot survive. The water that we drink, the clothes that we wear, the food that we eat comes from nature, and nature is our lifeline. Perhaps this must be one of the reasons why our ancestors bow down to the trees, bow down to nature, because that they saw as lifelines. Not that the mountains were gods or the trees were gods, but they are lifelines. Perhaps there's a lot to learn. Now, when human beings, now the key here is to feel related with each and everything, related to human beings, related with nature, related with mountains, air, water, everything. Only when you see that you are related, then you will care. That the tree is not a tree, but your lungs. The food on the plate is not food, but your life sitting on it. Only when you see that it is related to you, your heart will come out. Care for it, respect for it, talk to the tree, sing to the tree. This is what we need to do today. Now, if we understand that relatedness, perhaps these question marks will turn into tick marks. This is what we need to educate our people, our children. Buddhism says, commit not a single wholesome action. Cultivate a wealth of virtue. Well, this is true with every other religion. Every other tradition speak the same language. But what Buddhism emphasizes upon, which also other religions do, is that taming the world inside is the very essence of these teachings. Meaning, My well-being is not outside, my well-being is inside. What does this mean? Because our experience, whether it's joy, whether it's agony, whether it's ecstasy, whether it's displeasure, pleasure, whatever, it's within. These experiences are within. And therefore, for survival, survival means fulfilling the need of the body. Basically, survival means fulfilling the need of the body, because if you do not provide the need of the body, which is food, water, air, shelter, clothes, instruments, whatever, you are not going to survive. Survival means about the body. Once this survival process is taken care of, then we will see rest are our creation. Anger is our creation, jealousy is our creation, agitation is our creation, animosity is our creation. We are largely suffering our mind. Now on a daily basis, if you look into our suffering, it's not that we don't have enough to eat. It's not that we don't have enough to wear that is making us suffer. But we are suffering on a moment-to-moment basis, the agony of desire, the agony of jealousy, the agony of grudge, irritation, agitation, frustration on a moment-to-moment basis. So we are suffering basically our negative thoughts. So this brings me to the next point. What is the source of our happiness? Positive emotions, positive thoughts, positive feelings. We can verify. I'm not, as I said, I'm not going to speak anything new. I'm only speaking that you know. Let's verify when you get angry. At that state, at that time, during when you are getting angry, look into your state of being. Are you pleasant? Are you comfortable? We are disturbed, we are suffering within. Right? Similarly, when you have a feeling of reverence, feeling of affection, feeling of love, feeling of compassion, what is your experience? Don't we feel good? Yes, you feel good when you get something of your like, your choice. But I must tell you, even to enjoy a cup of tea, don't we need a pleasant mind as a prerequisite? If you are not pleasant from within, this cup of tea doesn't give you the best taste. If you are not pleasant from within, even the best dishes doesn't give you the pleasure. So in order to enjoy outside, you need a pleasant mind within. And this is what I call spirituality. Because if happiness is our ultimate aspiration, then a science that delivers that highest aspiration should be the ultimate science. Yes or no? Then I say spirituality, which is an inward journey, science of inner engineering. I say this because this spirituality is not basing on your sense perceptions. It is beyond what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, and that is spirituality. And spirituality is a state of awakening to the higher dimensions of our consciousness. What does this mean? Spiritual intelligence, wisdom, is something beyond our sense perceptions. Something that we can see beyond what we see, hear beyond what we hear. And once we have this wisdom, you are able to see that human being is not just the body, but also the mind. Human beings have the body, have the mind. Now when we talk about human well-being, we need to talk about fulfilling the needs of the body separately, needs of the mind separately, because they are two different entities. One is the consciousness unit, another one is the material unit. Material unit, the body is like a tomato, like a potato. If when the mind dissociates with it, exposed to the sun, it will get dried, exposed to the rain, it will rot. Right? So now, with wisdom, you are able to realize in your practical day-to-day life that I'm not just the body, I'm also the mind. Then when you have this clarity, then the next thing is you're going to realize what is the need of the body, what is the need of the mind, where we'll have very clear picture. Then when we look at the body, the need turns out to be anything that is physical. Food is for the body, water is for the body, clothes for the body, and right utilization means wearing clothes for the body, not for the mind, not for looking for the branded, that's for the mind, right? When you wear clothes for the mind, unlimited. When you wear clothes for the body, limited. How many clothes would you require for protection, nurturing, and right utilization of your body? 10, 15, 20, 30. So with this wisdom, you are able to identify the need of the body as physical things. Need of the mind, something, happiness. Need of the mind is happiness. It's not the body that wants to be happy. Body is a material unit. It doesn't have its own mind. The mind has to be with the body in order to experience things. So happiness is ensured through right feelings like love, compassion, positive emotions, positive thoughts, and positive feelings. Now, only when you are able to see that my body needs physical things, I provide physical things to the body, but not for happiness. Happiness, I have to ensure right in the setting, right separately. If I only ensure physical facility, which is the need of the body, this is what we have been doing, what the world has been doing, despite the fact that we have enormous accumulation of wealth, we are still looking for happiness because we have not fulfilled the need of the mind, we have only fulfilled the need of the body. Therefore, when you have this wisdom, then you are able to identify what is required, how much is required, and therefore it leads to mutual prosperity. Mutual prosperity means when I have more than enough, I feel prosperous. Prosperity is not in terms of accumulation, but it is in terms of feeling of having more than enough. Unless you have this feeling of having more than enough, you're never prosperous. When you are prosperous, only sharing happens. Otherwise, your sharing can be conditional. He has to be your best friend, your brother, your sister, your father, otherwise you will not share. Right? But when you have this feeling of having more than enough, you become a philanthropist. You become a god, actually. Because you not only share physical things, you will also share love. Now, what's the role of God if there existed one to share whatever is there? Similarly, when I have this feeling of love and compassion, I feel happy. Yes or no? Can you verify? When you have this feeling of love and respect, you feel good. Now, when you are happy, you become one of the wonderful human beings on earth. Aren't you? We become wonderful human beings when we are happy. We do all wonderful things when we are happy. But when you are disturbed from within, you can also be a nasty human being. Right? So now when you are happy from within, you interact with the outside world, you interface with the outside world, and therefore you are happy by ensuring this need of the mind, and when you interact with your physical body, which is your behavior, your conduct, your character, and this character, this conduct, touches the hearts of other people, therefore leads to mutual happiness. But now without wisdom, what's happening? We assume purely on the basis of our sense perceptions and then conclude that money is everything. And to think money is everything, to get angry, you don't need intelligence, right? To get angry, do you need intelligence? Never, right? So even without wisdom, easily you can think that money is everything, and as a result, you are never satisfied, you are never content. Therefore, you will always have this feeling of deprivation. Once you are deprived, you will take your share, you will also take others' share, you will exploit others, you will deprive others. And then is your love, compassion, this wonderful human, feelings, sensation, driven by preconditioning that I have to wear the latest, fashionable, designs. I have to drive the biggest car. I have to have a big house. But your quality of life is not determined by what car you have parked outside or what, how big a house you live. Your quality of your life is determined by how happily you drive your car. It may be a small little car, but happily you are driving. That is the quality of life. We are not comparing with anybody. We are just looking at, am I fulfilling the need of my body? Am I fulfilling the need of my mind? Is there a balance between the material well-being and the spiritual well-being? That is the lookout. So, when we have this wisdom, we are very much clear that we have a body, we have a mind, the needs are different, we fulfill them accordingly. But if we just stop at the physical level, I want to ask you a question. How different are you from a dog, from a cat, from a cow, from a pig? Because even a cow is born, grows up, reproduces, grows old, dies. How different are we? Are we any different? But for the animals, I would like to draw your attention. For the animals, the primary seeking of animals is survival. Their happiness is embedded in the very process of their survival. Look at the wild animals. Good grass, safe place, free of predators. What do you think the animal would be aspiring more than that? But human beings, yes, we also have to strive for survival. But once the survival process is taken care of, then we long for something else. We don't stop there. Right? Now, we need to understand this. Now, instead of stopping at the smaller circle, which is just the money, the physical facility, physical wealth, we need to work on all three. Only when we work on all these three, this is called transformation. That we're not stopping at the physical world. We are ensuring feelings, compassion, respect, trust. And this transformation basically is from a survival intelligence. Animals can be very intelligent, far more intelligent than human beings, but it is only and only for survival. When it comes to survival, we cannot compete with animals. But when it comes to transformation, what is life? What is the meaning of life? How do I look beyond my sense perceptions? Is not at all in the capacity of the brain of animals. Because the difference between human beings and animals at the level of mind, there is not much of a difference. The difference is purely made by the brain. The brain, human brains are highly developed. It has this tremendous capacity, which we can talk about this one later if there are questions. But human mind has this full potential, as we were talking about the other day, positive thinking, what was it, the mindset growth, because it has that potential. So, transformation is from survival intelligence to spiritual intelligence to well-being. Now, transformative education. We can see that education is learning or acquisition of knowledge and skills, either for survival or transformation, or both. But when it comes to transformative education, then it's not either or. It should provide both survival and transformation, eventually fulfilling human well-being. What is human well-being then? Well-being is balance between material well-being, spiritual fulfillment, and material fulfillment. That is called happiness. And that is our primary seeking. That is what human beings seek. What is transformation? Why spirituality? I asked in the beginning. Transformation. Oh, sorry. Ensuring right understanding, right thoughts, right feelings. Right understanding basically means going beyond the sense perceptions. Our sense perceptions are capable for survival. Now, sense perceptions, if you try to use sense perceptions to achieve happiness, it's like riding a bicycle and thinking of going to Mars, because it's not capable. We have to awaken to the higher dimensions of the mind so that we understand what we see beyond what we see, what we hear beyond what we hear, because our sense perceptions are outward bound and it has got limitations. You cannot see more than survival. But spirituality, transformation is much beyond. And we also have to identify, as we have a body, we have a mind. What is the need of the body? What is the need of the mind? How much effort and energy are we investing for fulfilling the need of the body? How much are we investing for fulfilling the need of the mind? That's a question that we need to ask ourselves. What's the percentage of our effort and effort being invested on these two needs? And also, that you don't exist by yourself. This bottle of water can survive without me, but I cannot survive without this water. Yes? If your neighbors are suffering, maybe in the beginning you might feel happy about having, not suffering like your neighbors, but over a period of time you will see that you are also suffering because everybody around you is suffering. So we are intimately interconnected, and therefore we need to know that we are interdependent. In English, this word independent, if you look for one single entity that is independent of itself, you'll not find one, because everything is interdependent. And spirituality, transformation is moving beyond our sensorial experience to spiritual reality, for which sense perceptions are not good enough. Why spirituality then? Sense perceptions are not an adequate technology for transformation. It's only, as I said, it's only for survival. Survival, your eyes are good, your ears are good, because you know where lies the danger, where you can trace with your ears what lies ahead of us. These are good for. Spirituality transformation requires higher order of thinking, which is not there in animals. We have to verify this, right? And spirituality, because human well-being cannot be ensured just by material well-being. You know, there are many billionaires on earth, yet they are looking for happiness. Because money cannot buy peace, money cannot buy exuberance, money cannot buy ecstasy, money cannot buy happiness. That's the reality. Now, if we have this clarity of mind, then we said in the beginning that we live with these gross misunderstandings. But then, once we have this spirituality, you're going to see that there is harmony already in nature. There is already everything. Now look at, harmony, living in harmony with mutual fulfillment at all levels. Now, we can awaken ourselves, we can ensure right understanding, right feelings in every individual through our education system. When we say education system, not the modern education system, because I feel modern education is not modern enough because it doesn't tackle the modern problems, right? Therefore, our education system should address this. Right understanding, right feelings, and right emotions in every, and prosperity in every family. This can be our goal. Because we are investing so much on feelings, trust, respect, therefore there is no fear in society. There is trust, there is fearlessness in society. And we know that nature is our life source, our lifeline. Therefore, we'll have so much of respect for nature. Now, the very process of transformation is what I call spirituality. Now, I would like to ask you this question. Are you spiritual, religious, or materialistic? You may say, I am I'm spiritual because I go to the temple every day, I pray, I do my rituals. No, that's rituals. Spirituality does not necessarily come from religion. When you think God is outside, you're praying in front of the murti, in front of, you're visiting something external. But when you find God within, that is spirituality. When you're looking for God outside, that is religion. So I'm not saying religions cannot be spiritual. Yes, religions can be spiritual, but most of the religions do something that is outside. You can see, for example, I am a Buddhist, so I can talk about Buddhism. So going to the temple, going around the stupa, doing all these rituals, does it become Buddhism? No, it is not Buddhism. These are rituals, these are technologies. These are purely technologies to connect with the ultimate goal of inner transformation. If you are not able to connect with your transformation, then this becomes your daily doings become your end by itself. And when it becomes an end by itself, then that is what I call religion. It's just a means to get there. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open for questions. We'll take two.
Visit to Bhutan, I was very impressed by the care for the environment shown through the country. Could you comment on the role of the school curriculum in that?
Looked at some of the good transforming practices here during the conference. I wanted to sit in some of these presentations where people were talking about transformative education in terms of nature conservation. In Bhutan, what we really do is that we tell children that nature is our lifeline. This is basically what we ensure that feeling of relatedness. That, unless you feel that you are related, teaching children to take care of environment will not happen. This is, now, if you are hungry and starving for 5 days, let's say, and suddenly somebody comes with a plate of rice or chapati or whatever. Now, will you see that as a chapati, rice, or will you see that as your life sitting on the plate? You'll bow down to it, because without which you would die. You would not. So this is the connection that we try to create, that water is our lifeline, air is our lifeline, food is our lifeline. Even if you look at the food, it's not just what arrives on your table. We take them back to the origin, the farmer who's plowing the field, tilting, sowing, cultivating, transporting from one place to another, people converting their blood into perspiration. So many people engaged down the line, and into your kitchen, somebody again invested some energy to come into your plate. We take them through this process, make them feel grateful. Not only to the food, but also the entire process. This is what we do.
Be that one.
Sure. For example, this famous, I heard online Indian sadhu, one scholarly sadhu saying, if somebody tells you are a gadha, you are a donkey, right? He's basically asking, do you become donkey? Because now if you rely on to what you hear, an animal referred to you, you interpret, you construct that as indecent or offensive. Now this is your creation, right? Somebody says something is basically producing some words outside. Now you are giving a meaning that it is offensive. I am respectable. Therefore, if you get angry, the anger is your creation. Anger is the source of your suffering. The outside is just a trigger, just a negligible trigger. It's not even the cause, it's just a condition. But the source is your poison, your anger, and you are manifesting that anger. And therefore you are suffering. So the other person, as Peter was saying this morning, when you point one finger outside, 3 fingers point at you. We are not looking inside, we are always looking outside. We have fixed enough outside, therefore comfort and convenience happened. We never fixed inside, therefore despite all this wonderful transformation so-called outside, we are still struggling because we have not fixed inside. Fixing inside means looking beyond what you can see and hear. The word donkey, if it was in the book, would you feel offended? Somewhere if you see a word donkey, would you feel offended? No. That situation and the context, you're giving a meaning, and that's your creation. And that's what it means, you know, that we are the master of our destiny. We are the creator. So now what you think is the cause of your anger, if you analyze it, it's no more than a negligible trigger. It's up to you whether you want to get offended by it or not. Not many people will get offended, right? Now let's say this color is green. Now, the very color green is neither good nor bad. Good and bad is not in the color. Good and bad is our interpretation. That's the reason why some will say I like, some will say I hate. Now if it was good and bad in it, then if it is likable, it should be likable to everybody. If it is not likable, it should be not likable to everybody. Because of the fact that goodness is not outside. Goodness is inside, or badness is inside. Good and bad is inside. We all the time blame alcohol, we blame drugs. Don't associate with it, no problem. Don't drink alcohol, no problem. Alcohol by itself is neither good nor bad. It can be, in fact, a very good object of offering in your altar. You can offer it as nectar. But the good and bad is our creation. Don't you think so? For this, you need to look beyond our sense perception. A little bit critical thinking, the third eye, the sixth sense, awaken to the higher dimension of our consciousness. This is what it means. Yes?
So is there any possibility to add spirituality in SC2, EF, or in modern education?
Pardon? Basically, there are two worldviews. One worldview is that you think that your happiness is outside, right? Therefore, you pursue happiness outside. You run after happiness outside, and yet you do not become happy, but you end up becoming a materialistic person. You become a consumerist. But another perspective, the worldview is that my happiness is within. The very source of my experience is within. Right? So it's not the physical conditions that is leading to it's ignorance. It's our ignorance that is making us rely on our sense perceptions. We have to move beyond. It's easy. It's easy. We just have to use the right tool to understand things. It's not that things are difficult. It's only we have not employed the right tool to tackle it. If we employ the right tool, spirituality is not that difficult. It's just that, you see, when do you become happy? When you ensure right feelings, right understanding, right, thoughts and emotions. Yes? When you are angry, when you are, filled up with hatred, jealousy, are you not suffering? That's our suffering. And that we suffer every moment.